show you how to clean the on-off switch. And then I'd also like to point out that the on-off switch clicks, right? When you turn it on, it pops, it clicks, whatever your word for it is. When you turn it off, it does the same thing. So on, off, that. That feeling, the click, was always just the way the button is designed to fit in the case. There's this little ridge right here, and it fits right onto a little ridge inside there. You can almost just make it out. When they pass by each other, it's just like that. Just like that. So when you're looking at the board and you've got your on-off switch, it's just sliding. It slides so easily, and it should do that. If there's really any tension in it, that's dirt. You know you need to clean that. If there's any sandiness or grittiness or anything like that in this action right here, then you know you need to clean it. So one way that I was saying, the solderless way to clean this, is by pretty much flooding it with alcohol and working its action over and over and over again. Because it's put together, it's hard to explain without showing you. It's put together in a way where when the gunk builds up, it builds up on a contact. And this slides from one contact to the other. It's either bridging a gap or it's breaking that gap. That's what on and off are. On means the electricity can flow from point A to point B past this switch. Off means it can't. Any switch means that, or does that, or however you want to say that. So I'm just going to push my Q-tip in there, you know, kind of like you would to drip it out. Kind of like that. And then I'm just going to flick the switch a bunch. All right, so you can do this for a while. I don't know how long I would prescribe to do this. You're not really breaking anything if you're doing it right. You're not exactly cleaning it either, but you are kind of acting to break up the grime that could be built up in there and spread it around to areas that aren't as important. So like say it's built up on contact A, which is on, and contact B, which is off. Now you can spread it around to the outsides of those contacts and everywhere else inside this little metal case that isn't point A or point B. I'm oversimplifying it. It's not exactly how it works. It's just for visual imagination. So that's how some people would say you could clean it and you can get away with that. Okay, so got my soldering stuff all set up. We're gonna take the power switch off. So I'm not sure if I would suggest you doing this or not, but I have a pair of tweezers that's capable, so I'm gonna put my one end of my tweezers under the shielding, and the shielding is what we're going to be taking off so as to clean it. So bear with me one moment here. There's one side. Jeez. Sorry, I'm used to doing this all with it braced in place. It's kind of awkward to do it on camera here. All right, there you go. And it's off. So, put the soldering iron away. Turn it off for the time being. That's what it looks like. That's just the shield. You can clean that if you'd like. The only parts that really need to be clean are the ends, and the flux does that, so not really important that you do that. Next. Next, we've got the switch. And the switch just comes right out. That looks like this. It's got two little metal tab, well, one metal tab folded up almost like a bit of a U or a V or something like that. You can sort of just make that out. So both of those ends need to be bent up. Don't fuck with this. Just take it out, pop it in its own little thing. Now, what really needs to be cleaned is this, the inside here. Those three little pieces of metal are contacts. And they are what that switch with those, that piece of metal that was bent like a U or a V or whatever, that's what that slides across to the system on, off, any of that shit. So I've just spilled a bunch of alcohol everywhere. No worries. It'll dry relatively fast. And so I'm just going to take a nice, generously wet Q-tip and slide it back and forth in here. My Q-tip frayed a little bit, but I do see some black shit coming up, almost like some solid chunks, like there was a lot of grime on here. I'm honestly surprised I didn't have any problems here myself with the power switch. So it's proving to just be a good bit of maintenance to do, instead of just necessity-based, you know. Let me get this little switch out too, and just give it a look. Yeah, its metal looks shiny, so I'm not gonna fuck with that. That looks like it's doing well. Okay, so now that the switch is back in its slot, I am going to turn my soldering iron back on. Prep the board just a little bit. All right. Just a few moments more. All right, soldering iron's up to temp. Tip tinned, and just place this on top. And I'm just going to apply pressure to pop it back into place. And now just tack one side. Okay. And tack the other side. All right. And soldering iron off. Right. Now, I'll worry about cleaning off the flux in a little bit. I just want to test if we get power here. So I'm going to do something a little bit risky. I don't necessarily recommend doing this, but it's quick, it's dirty, and it'll show you what you need to know. So I've got my battery in contact. I've got no liquid on the board, no fingers on any metal that I can see. And I'll flick my power switch up, and we got green. So that's a good sign. That means power switch came apart, power switch went back together just fine. Now I am going to clean up the board of its flux just a little bit. Just a wee bit more alcohol. Whew, don't let the plague take me. Okay. That should be all she needs. Everything seems in pretty great working order